There's a couple of things going on we should report. First of all, the power company, the Hawaiian Electric company, has removed all of the transformers and the poles and the wires and some would call it evidence, but they've removed all of that from the scene. And they said they only did that because, well, they don't own any of the land. They're just beyond the power substation, so they wanted to clean it up, make sure that everything was good. They said they took pictures, though, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Pictures worth 1,000 words, Glenn.
Yeah, it really is. What a surprise. This is a, public-private partnership with the government, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. It didn't work out really well. It never does.
Never does.
They never seem to do their job.
By the way, they only released, 300 names of the missing on Friday. There's 1,100 people still missing. And, I don't know why they're saying it that way. It's not that big of an island. I don't mean to be callous on this, but it's not that big of an island. It's not like somebody, is wandering off and is lost or whatever. It's not that big. And, what would it be?
Yeah,
somebody with Alzheimer's, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility, right?
A kid, maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah, but it's theoretically possible. Because why would you be missing?
Or somebody who's just trying to disappear,
right? Yeah, faking their death.
Out of that many missing, I don't understand.
Certainly not 5%, right?
No.
What is the number here? God, and you think about this: if all these people that are missing are gone, this is a
horrifying,
horrible. And this might be why they're holding it back. They don't want people to really, come to the point where they recognize what's happened here. This is
maybe, I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
JP Decker, he is Mercury One's executive director. He was an executive producer for me and a producer for a very long time. He's now over at Mercury One, and I believe you leave Hawaii today, do you not, JP?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I leave tonight.
So is there any explanation why they are still holding these names?
Glenn, I have, we've been here almost 5 days, and that is one thing that every single local is confused on that we've spoken with. I've spoken with a lot of people, and they said, we don't trust anyone. We do not trust what's coming out of the government. We don't trust what's coming out of not just the state of Hawaii, but the county, and then also our federal government.
How do they not? That is terrifying that they don't even believe the county.
No,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, it's just one word, though, about the locals is that's come up while we're, talking with some of these stories are just, again, horrific. But these are some of the most resilient people I've ever met in my life. Yesterday, just a quick story. Yesterday, we connected with this surfer. He's a pretty famous surfer on the island. And they said, hey, we're getting a shipment from one of the other islands of surfboards and fishing equipment. And I said, well, one, we went and helped. We were in the water. We were pulling surfboards off the boat. We were doing, getting fishing supplies. And I said, what is going on here? And they said most of these kids lost their surfboards in the mental health crisis that is here right now from seeing people burning in cars, from seeing their family members in their homes. This is the only thing that's going to bring this community back to what we know and we love. And so this guy is going to take kids, surfboards that were donated from other islands, and then the fishing supplies is just going to go to these local fishermen who lost literally everything. These are the guys who go out and buy the fish for all the tourists. And speaking with these people, and for me, yesterday we were at church, Harvest Church, which is one of our partners, and I was standing next to one of the worship leaders' wives who lost everything in this fire. She's just bawling and crying out, and they're singing one of these songs, and it's about how God is still in control in this disaster. And it was a powerful moment for me. I think this is the first time that I finally broke down from seeing the damage and seeing what this city is going through. And the one thing that really hits close to home is these are Americans. These are our brothers and sisters. This isn't just another story in the news cycle that's going to disappear. These are our people. And the fact that the government has just decided to, one, block everyone from going back in still. There's a few people that have been able to go back in and look at their homes. But two, we've gone past, we have to drive through part of Lahaina every single day if we want to get to another part of the island. And you see the destruction and you smell the smoke still. You smell the ashes and, those black walls that are going up on the road that everyone says the government's covering up, the ashes, all this. And it's what we've learned, what we've seen across the whole island are those black walls are so that ashes in the teeth of whatever is left of any of those human remains don't go into the street and don't get lost. It's devastating, Glenn. Devastating.
I know, people ran into the water, and how many people, how far in the water did they go? I hear some of them were in the water for 8 or 10 hours just treading water. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Glenn, we were with a couple of people yesterday, and there was a story of this teacher, and the fire's coming down towards the ocean, and she had to jump in the ocean with a big group of people. She doesn't know how many, but a big group of people, and they all jump in. They treaded water and swam for up to 8 hours, and everyone around her drowned.
Oh my gosh.
She's trying to rescue these people, these kids, these dads, these moms, these grandparents, but she couldn't do anything, and so she just tried to tread and swim, but everyone around her drowned. They ended up finding her 8 hours later, alive, this lady, a mile off the coast. This shouldn't have happened this way.
How did there not?
Where were the people?
Yeah, where were the Coast Guard boats or whatever boats? Why?
Yep.
What happened?
Every single local that I have spoken to are asking the same question. They're asking, we've got installments all around this area on all these islands. Where was the military? And, we've heard stories of some Navy SEALs coming in and, just helping, and then some Chinooks that came in and helped try to rescue. And the Coast Guard came in later on to try to help. But we did confirm with a couple locals who ran out that the police were so scared of the power lines that fell through the wind that people were not allowed to get out of Lahaina. And during these fires, because the police were blocking off because they didn't want them to run into the power lines that were still alive.
Which is the job of the power company that always happens. A power line goes down and you shut everything off. Why didn't they shut it off?
They don't want to. They haven't come out yet and said anything.
They don't want to incriminate. They don't want to say.
The other day, we were eating at a local restaurant, and we smelled a fire. This was the one that you probably might have heard about, but there's a pretty large grass fire that was going towards Lahaina. And so we smelled it. And then what's interesting, though, we're at this restaurant, and there's a FEMA person, there's a Red Cross person, there's a guy who lost everything. And then there's a former Doctors Without Borders person, and she was here volunteering. And the power goes out, and all of our phones, emergency phone, you know what that's like. Everybody's phone goes off, and it says evacuate. Most of the people that are in that room didn't know quite what to do, which was interesting. And then the guy who lost his home, there's tears, because what do you do? On this island, there is no escape route. Lahaina is the escape route. You go through that street. There is no medical team on this side. There's no hospital on this side of the island. And, you have to go 45 minutes if something were to happen. And we've heard stories of some of the burn victims who ended up getting in the two ambulances on this side of the island and died in the ambulance trying to get to a hospital. So, I mean, with what we're doing with Mercury One is incredible because within the first 48 hours, we sent a tech team, one of our incredible partners, their name is ITDRC, and they showed up with Starlinks to provide internet for the community because for 3 or 4 days, most of these people had no way of communicating to the outside world that we're still alive, to their families and friends in the mainland. And one, why was it a nonprofit that came in and provide internet and the government did nothing? They ended up providing internet for the government and the community because they told us the other day, we can cut the red tape. We have no red tape, but the government has the red tape. So that's why they come to us. And, you know, we were one of the first ones to Samaritan's Purse to send in a cargo plane of supplies, food, water. And right now, this island doesn't need the food and water. What they need is the mental health. There's already been about 5 or 6 suicides. And that's just when you lose everything.
Including your family.
Including your family. And the mental health side is something that we're going to be focused on. And we spoke with a local restaurant owner the other day, and and again, Glenn, you know, we brought cameras to help tell the story of what Mercury One and our partners have been doing on the ground, what we're going to do, because we're not here just for a small amount of time. We're here for the long haul. We don't just, I mean, when you started this, you said we're the first ones in, last ones out. That's what we do. And so I was talking with the restaurant owner, and he just breaks down. And, you know, we didn't have the cameras with us. And he said, you know, all these people have been coming in with cameras. They've just been coming in and just want to take our story, and then we just leave again. And we've had business guys. This is what this guy said. Businessmen come in with wads of cash, drop it on our table, and say, I'll buy you out. And I will, you know, just buy you out. This guy has put up 20 of his staff in his restaurant. He's been providing hundreds of meals a day to people. I tried to offer some help, and he said, I don't want help. He goes, what I want is for you to help other people, you to help my neighbors. And when we say 100% goes, and that's usually what I would tell these people, hey, we're not your normal nonprofit. We're not a profit who takes overhead. We want to give 100% to this island, and that's what we do. That's the most powerful thing and they're shocked at it. They said, no, I know you take overhead, all this. No, we don't. But I think, you know, anyways, I know I'm telling so many different stories, but this is one for me personally. It's changed my life on what community looks like. These people are exactly what community. They're the definition of ohana, which means family, and that is community.
JP, thank you so much. Mercury One Executive Director, coming home today. But as he said, our people and all of the charities we support will be the last ones out. So please, if you'd like to help us, all you have to do is go to mercury1.org and donate to our disaster relief fund. It's mercury1.org.